What if I told you that right now there's an invisible program running your life? Seriously, it's a program that dictates your income, your relationships, pretty much all of your success, and it's doing it without your conscious permission. Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into what that program is and, more importantly, how you can actually rewrite it. You ever just look around and wonder about this? It's a huge question, and the legendary speaker Bob Proctor really spent his entire life answering it. Because we see it all the time, right? Some people, they just seem to win at everything they do. And then you have other people who are just as smart, just as talented, and they always seem to be struggling. So what's the real difference?
And this is where it gets really interesting, this paradox right here. Our first thought is that, success must be tied to how smart you are or your education, but that's just not the whole story. As Proctor pointed out, you can find people with degrees coming right off their business card who can't seem to make it. And at the same time, you find others, maybe even functionally illiterate, who become these enormous winners. So if it's not our background, and it's not our brains, what in the world is it?
Well, that brings us to our first section, the winner's secret. We're about to pull back the curtain on that one hidden factor that's actually controlling our results.
So, what is that secret variable? It's not your IQ, it's not your background, it's not some random stroke of luck. The answer, according to Bob Proctor, is your paradigm. That's the secret. So, paradigm, that's a big word. What exactly is it?
Well, it's time to define this invisible program that's been running the show this whole time. Okay, in the simplest terms, a paradigm is just a collection of habits. But here's the really wild part. They aren't even your habits, not originally. They're ideas and behaviors we pick up, we inherit from other people. Our family, our culture, our environment. And they get programmed directly into our subconscious mind when we're little kids. And this quote from Proctor really shows you how high the stakes are. Paradigms are going to make you or break you. But the most powerful part of that is what comes at the end. It's your choice. See, this isn't some life sentence. It's a system that you can actually learn to control. And when we say it controls things, we mean basically everything. Your paradigm controls your perception, literally how you see the world. It dictates how you use your time, your creativity, your effectiveness, and your income and the quality of your relationships. It's like the silent director of your entire life. Proctor had this perfect analogy to make it all make sense. Think of your paradigm as your mind's operating system, and your body is the hardware. So if you don't have the success software installed, you just can't run that program, no matter how badly you want to. Your system will only do what it's been programmed to do.
So, does that mean we're just stuck with the mental code we were given as kids? Absolutely not. And that brings us to the best part, rewriting your life's code.
And hey, the best proof that you can change this stuff comes from Bob Proctor himself. The guy was not born a winner. In fact, until he was 26, he described his own life as unhappy, sick, and broke. Then, it felt like it happened almost overnight. Everything changed. He went from losing at everything to winning at everything. So what happened? Simple. He changed his program. So how'd he do it? What was the secret? It's not some complicated mystical formula. It's just one powerful, fundamental principle. Repetition. The very same way that old program got installed is the exact same way you install a brand new one. Proctor's story is just incredible. He started by reading Napoleon Hill's classic book, Think and Grow Rich, and listening to an Earl Nightingale record. And he didn't just listen once. No way. He actually put a little record player in his car and listened to that same record and read that same book over and over and over again. He was literally intentionally writing a new program for his subconscious mind. Okay, so this is all great, but how can we apply this in our own lives? Let's get really practical with our final section, the 3-step paradigm shift. Proctor lays out this beautifully simple, practical process that literally anyone can use to start rewriting their own code. And it all boils down to just 3 steps. Here they are. It's super straightforward. First, you've got to identify the old program you're currently running. Second, you have to clearly define the new program that you want to run instead. And third, you systematically install that new program through focused daily effort. Let's break down exactly how to do that. All right, this is the core exercise. This is where the rubber meets the road. You're going to take a sheet of paper, label it A, and write down your life exactly as it is now. And you have to be brutally honest here. Your lifestyle, your finances, your relationships, the good, the bad, all of it. Then you grab a second sheet, label it B, and you write out your ideal life. But, and this is the crucial part, You have to write it in the present tense, starting with a phrase, I am so happy and grateful now that. So, what do you do with that honest, maybe even a little painful A list that describes your current reality? You burn it. And no, this isn't just for dramatic effect. Proctor says this is a super powerful symbolic act. You are consciously creating a vacuum, making space for the new reality you want to bring into your life. You are letting go of the old program for good.
Now for the installation phase. This is where repetition becomes your absolute best friend. You take your B list, your description of your amazing ideal life, and you read it every single day, over and over again. And to really seal the deal, you write out and sign a commitment to yourself to do this for 90 days straight. That signature, that's what Proctor called your irrevocable commitment to making this change happen.
And this whole process, it really comes back to this timeless principle, captured perfectly by the philosopher Goethe. Before you can do something, you first must be it. See, by reading your B list over and over, you're impressing a new identity onto your subconscious mind. You are becoming the person who lives that life on the inside first, and then the external results, they have no choice but to follow.
So it really all comes down to this. Your life is running on a program. You might not have written the original code, but you absolutely have the power to write the next version. So the only real question left is, what new program will you write for yourself?